Hello and welcome. This is Paul Martinelli. Hey, have you ever contemplated the power of last place? You know, I never really had, but this past week I was in Romania. I've been working there for 12 days. I was brought in by a wonderful company called Life Care to motivate, inspire, teach, and train their people. And while I was on that trip in Romania, the headlines came out that Romania was the last country in the EU financially. That not only were they in the last place, but all of the experts, all of the economists, all the bankers looked at the conditions and circumstances of the market and said that no matter what the Romanian people did, no matter what decisions their government made, that they would remain last until 2014. Wow, what a challenge for the people of Romania to think beyond that kind of prediction in the face of what experts are calling. And then for me as a speaker, there I am talking about them having infinite potential and that they could create whatever it is that they wanted in their life, and then that headline. And you know, it's interesting that those headlines, that those conditions and circumstances forced me into a new level of thinking. It forced me to think, how can I message, how can I language a hope of possibility for the people that I had to address? And you know, that's often what happens, is that sometimes the conditions and circumstances of our life, if we allow them not to define us, but to cause us to grow. My mentor, who I introduced several weeks ago on one of these videos, Mary Morrissey, one time when we were talking, she said, Paul, you realize that the content of your life can be the curriculum through which you evolve. And you know, that is so true. And that's what it's going to be for the Romanian people, and that's what it is for you and I. And I suggested to the people in the audiences that, you know what, that there were lessons that they could learn from being in last place that would help them propel themselves and evolve forward. And I also said that there was power in being in last place. Had the Romanian people and the Romanian nation been maybe place number 7, they would be focused on being number 6 or number 5, and they would worry about dropping back to number 8 or 9. If they were number 4, they would strive to be number 3 and be afraid of falling back to step number 5. But when they were in last place, the power of last place is that we would use the law of polarity. We would say, well, what's the opposite of last place? Well, the opposite of last place isn't 8th, isn't 7th, isn't 5th or 3rd, it's 1st. And they could begin to contemplate what is the polar opposite of where we were at. And then they could begin to look at what are we doing that works? What doesn't work? And what's 1 or 2 things that we can do that would be effective and efficient in helping us move towards what it is that we truly want. So I invite you into the experiment this weekend. Look at some of the conditions and circumstances of your life. Don't allow them to define you. You realize that the challenges and the conditions and circumstances you may face can never even predict what's possible, regardless of what the experts say, regardless of your reference historical past, that there is a field of possibility that you can step into through thought. What's the polar opposite of what it is that you really want? What do you really want to create? And allow your mind to go there. And then focus on what's one step, what's the next step that you can take to be there. And you'll do that. You know, one good decision you can make is to come to South Florida in January 2011 and spend a weekend on the 21st and 22nd with myself, Bob Berg, Kerry Wilkerson, Randy Gage, Les Brown. We're doing what's called the Big Event 2011. And we're going to spend an entire weekend with a few hundred people really setting a marketing plan in place, understanding how to effectively communicate better, how to build networks, how to understand that we can think beyond our conditions and circumstances, and an opportunity to meet other people who have a shared belief in you, that regardless of where we are in our lives, that there is a field of possibility. I invite you to go check out the website, The Big Event 2011, and join me and Bob Berg, Kerry Wilkerson, Randy Gage, and Les Brown. Thank you very much. Have a great weekend.